So Titania has a billboard advertising her new range of She-Hulk beauty products, and since She-Hulk is upset by this, she goes home and has some ice cream. A bit cliche, but okay, fine. Her cousin bursts in with some boxes that have red fragile stickers on them. He removes one and then they change into bigger boxes with black and white stickers. Continuity? What's that?
I'm making a killing selling these signed She-Hulk products, so I need you to little John Hancock for me, will you?
No, I'm not signing those.
So somehow he's been making a killing selling these signed products, even though she's refusing to sign them. He said that in the past tense. He said he is making a killing, not he will make a killing. That means she must have signed them before, so why is she refusing to sign them now? There's no other dialogue indicating she has ever signed any, so maybe she never has. But then, who signed them? We're only a minute into the episode and already it doesn't make any sense.
This woman, Titania, has trademarked my name.
Well, that's dumb. Why would you let her do that?
If only you knew a lawyer who could do something about this.
The way trademark works is whoever gets there first gets it, you know? So if you would have done yours first, then she wouldn't have been able to done that, you know?
I don't know what she's screaming about. He's just engaged in more competent lawyer skills than She-Hulk has demonstrated over the past 5 episodes. He is incorrect, but it's still closer to reality than anything Jen has ever done. She-Hulk's a lawyer. Well, the show insists that she is. She could have done something if she'd wanted to, but instead she's sitting at home eating ice cream. Why is she having an attack of conscience now by refusing to sign these boxes? She was fine using She-Hulk to get free drinks, she was fine using She-Hulk to get a job, she was even fine using She-Hulk to lure someone into the bedroom by hiding who she really is. But signing a few bottles of perfume crosses the line. Oh wait, it's because this guy would benefit, isn't it? It's not that She-Hulk is sticking to her principles because she hasn't got any, she just doesn't want someone else having any type of success. So Titania is having a launch party for her new products and there's a queue outside.
I'm gonna wait in line, are you kidding me? We're just gonna enter with confidence, that's how it works.
Considering the size of the place and how empty it is, I don't know why there's a queuing system for 12 people. They walk inside with confidence. Just because you're in a show, that doesn't mean you get to edit yourself around door security. Honestly, this guy's not even looking, so I don't know why everyone just doesn't walk in.
Snake venom lip plumper. She's literally selling snake oil.
You just read snake venom out loud and then said she's selling snake oil. How could you do this? And before anyone starts, she wasn't being sarcastic. She clearly said that with conviction. This actress is far too good for this show. What's her name? Tatiana Maslany? That's right. Right? Maslany. That means every time there's a lack of She-Hulk, I'm going to ask, where's the giant Maslany?
Where's the giant Maslany?
Jennifer jumps to the front of the line of people waiting to get their stuff signed.
Sorry, little child, but the line starts way back there.
What do you mean, way back there? There's only 6 people in the queue. But at least she's complaining about someone jumping in line. Even she has higher morals than She-Hulk. Jennifer does what any competent lawyer would do in this situation and physically confronts the person suing her in order to have an argument.
I want you to stop and take all of this down.
What seems to be the issue?
You're using my name to sell your trashy products.
And you're suing me?
Did you really think that was going to get her to stop? Someone pushes past Jen and asks her to take a photo, and for some reason Jen does it, which is just pathetic. How is it she can stand up to the Hulk and even start a fight with him, but she can't suffer a little social awkwardness and refuse to take a photo?
I can't believe she just stole my name like that. This is egregious.
But you said you didn't like the name She-Hulk anyway.
Thank you!
Finally, a character who says what we've all been thinking.
I do admit, though, there are parts of it that I enjoy.
Okay, you're not done.
Even her friends are getting sick of her now.
The amazing hair, no hangover.
What has the amazing hair and no hangover got to do with the name She-Hulk? Titania isn't taking away your ability to turn into She-Hulk, you mouldy potato. She's only preventing you using the name. And even then, it only stops you using the name She-Hulk for commercial purposes. That's why it's called a trademark and not a name mark. And besides that, you do get a hangover. There was a whole scene about it in the first episode. I guess the writers have amnesia again.
Being able to walk home at night with headphones on without being afraid.
Every woman's dream.
We obviously have different views on what not being afraid means.
I got her! Come on, I got her!
So She-Hulk continues to moan. I mean, I know I'm moaning, but I've got a level of self-awareness which is something the writers of this show don't have. You probably don't want the central character of your show to whine all the time. That'll take the fun right out of your fun lawyer show. People called Luke Skywalker whiny. I think She-Hulk complains more in a single episode than Luke did in all of his films combined. All 3 of them. The creepy poop map guy from the previous episode approaches She-Hulk's friend and wants a favour.
I need a favor.
Oh, well, you know my price. Return favor. Plus interest.
Done.
How do you even measure that? For some reason they're talking like lifelong friends. Hasn't She-Hulk's friend only been working here for a couple of episodes now? Which is what? A few months at best? That poo map must have really done the trick. I'm just gonna call him the poo guy now. The poo guy wants this woman to go with him to buy some shoes.
Okay, so you're telling me that you collect shoes to look at that you're never gonna wear?
Do you remember when shows used to develop their characters? All we know about this poo guy is that he told the new female employee which bathroom to use. And he collects shoes. Apparently, a strong relationship has been built between these two, and it happened entirely off-screen. Twilight has better character writing than this. And that's not a joke. Twilight does have better character writing than this.
After I ram you in the ankle. Yeah, bring it.
Hi, I'm Jacob. Yeah. I got a guy, Alonzo, the drip broker. You can find anything you're looking for fashion-wise.
She-Hulk's friend wants to use the poo guy's contact to get some clothing for a superhuman-sized person. She-Hulk is only 6'7". She could buy regular clothes. They had dialogue about She-Hulk buying new clothes all the way back in episode 2, and yet she still hasn't done it despite her being very well paid. We're told she's a competent, self-respecting lawyer, but she hasn't bought a new wardrobe to present herself in a professional manner, and I don't know how long she's been dressing like this, but it's been enough time for these two to build a strong friendship. The clothing issue in this show is more inconsistent than the bloody characters.
Alonzo says that it's a front for a superhero clothing business.
Why would you need a front for a superhero clothing business? How long have we had superheroes running around and no one has started a clothing business for them? What happened to superhumans coming out of the woodwork? And what about normal humans? The cosplay crowd would go crazy. Do you really think normal people wouldn't be interested in buying a custom designed supersuit? I'd want one. Where's my supersuit?
Where is my super suit?
But no, hide your business behind a fake cafe. That'll help it succeed. And before you ask, I have no idea what a Boba Cafe is. It turns out this guy sells knockoff Avengers merchandise. I have to say I feel disappointed that the best the writers could come up with for counterfeit clothing is Avengers and Avengers. Even the real knockoff merchandise is funnier than this. By real knockoffs, I mean knockoffs from the real world. Never mind. For around $38.99 you can buy American Hero 4. If that's not your thing, you could always try the Revengers Endless Tussle, where you have a selection of heroes to choose from, including the Incredible Fella, Fedora Ron not included, Regular Raccoon or Token Girl, Revengers Endless Tussle, collect them all. For some reason, Nightly Knight is asleep. My favourite is Detective Horse. They then ask if this guy knows the guy who makes the superhero clothing.
He won't meet with you, he's very exclusive.
Okay.
Then the woman celebrates that he does know who this guy is, as if she's just outsmarted him. I'm sorry, but he never denied it. Only an idiot would think this is an achievement. In order for him to tell them how to contact this superhero clothing specialist, they have to buy something. And like any self-respecting person, they then decide to put the clothes on and wear them when visiting this exclusive designer. Why would this knockoff merchandise salesman with a fake front of a Boba Cafe even know about this designer? Who cares? Just don't think about it. They refused an appointment, but they say their client is an Avenger, and for some reason this exclusive designer believes them, despite how they're dressed and how they act.
What an idiot.
Why did I pass a billboard on Santa Monica Boulevard today advertising a She-Hulk booty boost smoothie?
Why would the boss complain about that when She-Hulk jiggles her booty around the office with her client? It's the height of unprofessional. The only thing that would make it worse is if she had glass walls. Oh. She-Hulk then starts to explain.
I'm gonna stop you because, none of that's my concern.
So the answer to your question isn't your concern. Okay.
No one hires a firm that can't handle its own messes.
I mean, have you taken any steps to try and help her? She-Hulk says she'll fix it and the boss says she won't. Wow, riveting dialogue.
Well, I'm surprised and relieved you aren't foolish enough to try to represent yourself. At least you know that basic rule.
I'm glad the characters in the show are starting to recognise what the audience has known since the beginning, that She-Hulk is a terrible lawyer. The boss won't let her represent herself, probably because he didn't hire her for her lawyer skills.
Why didn't you trademark your own pseudonym?
Did Doctor Strange have to trademark his name? Did Thor?
You chose two examples of people who use their real names.
I'm glad the show agrees that Thor is his name, and therefore it makes no sense for Natalie Portman to also be called Thor. And when the lawyer pointed this out, why didn't She-Hulk say another hero with a pseudonym? Why didn't she mention the Hulk? Bruce is her cousin, for God's sake.
I never even thought about it.
This is the person who legally outmaneuvered you?
I'm starting to like this woman, constantly pointing out She-Hulk's stupidity and also noting that Jennifer was legally outmaneuvered by Titania.
Fantastic.
But if you're going to be my client, you need to dress like you respect yourself.
Now that's a lot of damage!
I do wonder why they're both sitting at eye level considering Jen is meant to be so much taller than this new lawyer. The new lawyer wants to countersue Titania for use of the She-Hulk name.
Nice suit, Shrek.
Wow, even the writers of the show are aware she looks like Shrek. Look at those gangly legs as she walks to a seat. She walks like she's on stilts. The new lawyer argues that She-Hulk was using the name before Titania. Each lawyer then just starts showing video clips of She-Hulk using the name or saying she doesn't like it and who used it first.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
The defendant is exploiting goodwill towards my client and her better-known cousin in order to sell her non-FDA-approved sham products.
But beauty products aren't required to get FDA approval, so why would you bring this up? The only time beauty products do need FDA approval is for colour additives, and if Titania's products do have colour additives and she's still not FDA approved, I think you've got a much bigger case on your hands than a silly trademark disagreement. But for some reason the lawyer doesn't press the issue. I actually find it hard to believe the writers are this bad. All these terrible lawyers have to be intentional, right? Oh god, please tell me it's intentional.
Okay, first of all, sham? Why don't you try telling that?
For some reason, her lawyer doesn't stop her having this rant.
Can you prove a pattern of Miss Walters' personal use of the name?
Yes, Your Honor, we definitely have more to present.
That was almost a coherent courtroom scene.
Fantastic. Wow. Nice.
It devolved into a stupid bickering contest of who has the best video clips, but I at least mostly could follow along with what was going on, even if it didn't make any sense. She-Hulk then gets to meet the guy who makes the superhero costumes.
Oh, no, I don't actually need a suit like that. I just need a business suit.
Then why are you here? Are you telling me you can't get a suit to fit someone who is 6'7"? They eventually convince the guy to make a suit for She-Hulk. For some reason, the guy who walks past them is confused on which way to go and somehow walks off to the left. He must be able to walk through walls because they literally just got off the elevator. That is an elevator right there. There's nowhere to walk.
But she needs a suit that's going to fit her both as Jen and as She-Hulk.
I don't see why you need both if she's supposed to be She-Hulk the entire time she's at work. The only reason they keep changing her into Jennifer is to save on the budget, and then I'm just left asking,
Where's the giant, Mansley?
Why go through all this hassle when she could just phone Bruce to find out where he gets his clothing from? I guess there wouldn't be an episode if they did that.
Hooray!
She-Hulk then runs into one of the guys she went on a date with in the previous episode, and despite not liking this guy at all, she agrees to go out for drinks with him again.
Every single one of those dates is a corroborating witness. This is how I win this case.
She then figures out that having created a dating profile as She-Hulk, it shows a pattern of using the name so she can win the case. I'm shocked. I thought they already used this in the courtroom.
Yes, Your Honor, we definitely have more to present.
I presumed this included the dating profile, but apparently not. I'm amazed the show is so blatant with showing She-Hulk to be such a bad lawyer. That's what they're trying to show here, right? The writers don't actually think they just showed someone being good at their job. Oh god, I hope not. Back to the courtroom and we get a look at She-Hulk's dating profile. Under what she's looking for in a guy, she wrote,
"A sturdy back and reinforced king-size bed."
That's most definitely the writer's self-insert. She-Hulk calls in all her previous dates as witnesses.
Would you have gone on the date if She-Hulk had instead presented as Jennifer Walters?
Objection, relevance.
I don't know why the show insists on hammering home the fact that this guy wouldn't have gone on a date with her if she was in Jen form. We saw that in the last episode.
Look, I don't mean to be rude, but no.
So what the show is saying here is that She-Hulk took advantage of a man without gaining his consent. It's amazing how these courtroom scenes keep uncovering more serious crimes that go completely ignored by everybody. Wong is wanted for kidnapping and breaking someone out of prison, Titania is making millions on beauty products without getting FDA approval, and now we know She-Hulk forcefully took advantage of someone without getting his consent. I wonder if any of this is going to come up in future episodes.
I doubt that very much.
She-Hulk then wins the case.
What that extremely attractive man said in there, you can do better. You deserve better.
I don't know why this lawyer thinks She-Hulk can do better than this guy. His only character flaw is that Jennifer Walters isn't his type. Which isn't a character flaw at all, it's actually quite rational. Just because he doesn't find Jen Walters attractive doesn't mean he's of a lower standard than someone who does. Only a narcissist would think that's the case. Honestly, I'd be shocked if there's a man alive who could find Jennifer attractive after listening to her talk for an hour.
Can I buy you a drink to say thanks?
Sure.
She-Hulk then smiles at the camera. It's the first time she's made a friend.
Holloway could never have gone through that. He's never had to prove his value to a parade of underwhelming men. Right?
If you really think about it, that's more of an insult to Jen than anything else. Maybe next time she shouldn't select a parade. A parade! Not just a couple or a few, but a parade of underwhelming men. She-Hulk selected them, it's her own fault. Why would Mr. Holloway have to prove himself to a parade of underwhelming men whilst on a date? He's a married man, and he's got a business to run. What the fuck? You really didn't think that line through, did you?
Like, think about everything that She-Hulk brings to the table, and those guys were my best option.
That's right, despite all of She-Hulk's abilities, the real superpower here is her repulsive personality. I thought for a moment we might get some introspection, but I obviously think too highly of this show.
You can have literal superpowers and some guy with an internet connection will still think he can do better.
Yes! Oh my god!
I don't think I've ever watched the show that's so transparent. It's like I'm a fly on the wall as these writers sit in a room and complain about their lives. This isn't the characters talking, it's the writers. But okay, I've got an internet connection, so I'll rise to the bait. What are Jennifer's good qualities that would help in a relationship? And to be clear, I'm talking about the character Jennifer Walters. The actress seems perfectly nice, and this isn't a reflection on Tatiana Mansley at all. Where's the giant Mansley?
Where's the giant, Mansley?
Wow.
Let's start with a neutral 5 out of 10. So she's relatively healthy, 1 point. Having superpowers means she's less likely to be injured, which does take a certain worry out of the equation. And episode 2 showed us those abilities would be good helping around the house. 2 points to Gryffindor. But those powers will draw a lot of unwanted attention and scrutiny. And it'll put her partner's life in danger when they attack him in order to get to her. I learnt that from Spider-Man. Okay, so here's a random list of 25 things men look for in a woman. Let's pick a few. Is she family and friend orientated? She didn't even contact her family for months in the first episode after her car crash, and she only has one friend, but said friend works for Jen, so it's not exactly a balanced relationship. So, no. Is she charming? Is she kind-hearted?
Bullshit!
Is she intellectually challenging? She's the dumbest lawyer I've ever seen. So no. Is she consistent? No. Does she hold similar values to him?
I'm not proud of this.
She doesn't hold any values. She-Hulk has no integrity whatsoever. Is she funny? Is she reliable? She's reliably inconsistent. Is she respectful? Not even close. Does she listen to him? No, she's a narcissist. Her biggest turn on is when a guy asks her to talk about herself. Is she self-aware? Oh god. We've already covered health. Is she honest? Not even close. Oh, and her only activity outside of work is drinking alcohol.
Walters, you laid out a winning case against us.
Quite a strategy.
Steve Rogers is not a virgin. He lost his virginity to a girl.
You could be an Avenger. I thought you were getting better clothes. You are. I am so happy.
Magic is...
Suddenly that guy with an internet connection is looking like a pretty good option. But don't flatter yourself, She-Hulk, he's not going to downgrade for you.
I am so happy we're friends now.
The lawyer drinks her drink and walks off saying,
I thought you were getting better clothes.
a moment ago she was laughing at how much better she can do with men. Now she's saying her clothes are awful again. I can't decide if this is character inconsistency or bad writers trying to shoehorn in the story thread of She-Hulk buying a new suit.
Oh yeah, my clothes.
She-Hulk gets her new clothes and starts getting changed, even though the guy is right there and the curtains are still open. And after an entire episode of trying to get new clothes, we don't get to see any of them. This is what's called anticlimactic. I have no idea why the writers have written She-Hulk to be such a stereotype. If I was a woman, I'd be offended, but since I'm not, I just think it's accurate. What were the stakes of this episode? What was at risk of her losing the court case? She won't be able to use the She-Hulk name, which she didn't like anyway. That's it. Tune into the next episode because this one was a waste of time.
Holloway could never have gone through that. He's never had to prove his value to a parade of underwhelming men.
Right?